Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Emergence, how stupid things become smarter together. I'm wondering now, ever since I played like half a second of this thing an ant. I wonder if this has something to do with like cell division and how things work in unity, and how if we work in groups together we become more successful and as we become more successful our brains develop, or just things develop in general, whether it's cell multiplication or working in unity. Anyways, let's go and get started.
An ant is pretty stupid. It doesn't have much of a brain, no will, no plan. And yet, many ants together are smart. An ant colony can construct complex structures. Some colonies keep farms of fungi, others take care of cattle. They can wage war or defend themselves. How is this possible? How can a bunch of stupid things do smart things together? This phenomenon is called emergence, and it's one of the most fascinating and mysterious features of our universe. In a nutshell, it describes small things forming bigger things that have different properties than the sum of their parts.
I did not know the definition of emergence. By the way, if you don't like interruptions and you like this video, please go to the original creator's YouTube channel. Just copy my title, which will be actually, as a matter of fact, the title's right there. But my title and without the react, and you can search for it. It'll be in the description if I haven't updated it yet. But yeah, I didn't realize that was the definition of emergence, is things coming together to work together.
Emergence is complexity arising from simplicity, and emergence is everywhere. Water has vastly different properties to the molecules that make it up, like the concept of wetness. Take wet fabric. If you zoom in far enough, there is no wetness, there are just molecules sitting in the spaces between the atoms of the cloth. Wetness is an emerging property of water, something new only created by a lot of individual interactions between water molecules. And this is sort of it. Many things interact under a certain set of rules, creating something above and beyond themselves. It turns out that more is different. This different property is itself a new thing, and that new thing can couple with other new things to repeat the process. You can imagine this as layers stacked upon each other, every layer made from more complex parts. Atoms form molecules, molecules form proteins, proteins make up cells, cells make up organs, organs form individuals, individuals form societies. But how can something be more than the sum of its parts? How do ants form the sort of cloudy entity that is a colony? By following a rule set that produces order through chaos. For example, let's look at how an ant colony distributes jobs. Let's assume that a colony should have 25% workers, 25% caretakers, 25% soldiers, and 25% gatherers. Ants communicate their current job via chemicals. For example, a worker ant constantly secretes chemicals that say, "I'm a worker." When ants meet other ants, they smell each other to gather information, telling each other their job and what they're doing. Both keep track of who they met in the past. Now, imagine an anteater kills most of the gatherers. If this isn't fixed quickly, the colony will starve. Many worker ants need to switch jobs, but how do you tell this to thousands of them? Simple, you don't. Our worker ant will still meet and smell other ants, but it will encounter almost no gatherers at all. It counts too few gatherers until it reaches a critical point, and then it changes its job. The worker becomes a gatherer. Other ants will do the same until after a while there are enough gatherers again. The balance is restored all by itself. The actions and interactions of an individual are random. You can't plan which ant will encounter which other ant. But the simple set of rules is so elegant that a colony's many operations emerge as a consequence.
Also, that's very interesting. I love watching the ant documentaries, and let me rewind that. So,
Elegant that a colony's many operations emerge as a consequence.
I love watching the ants documentaries because they talk about a lot of the ant life and stuff, and I thought the ants were all born to do a specific task. I'm wondering. I don't think a soldier can switch his job because soldier ants are built differently. They have much bigger mandibles, so they can't grip things very well. They're built for fighting and fighting alone. Uh, but that's interesting. None of the documentaries that I watched never talked about how they switch jobs and stuff. I did hear like they're the cleaners, the harvesters, the searchers, and all of that. But that's pretty cool. I didn't know that they can switch jobs. Although I don't think a soldier can switch jobs because they're built differently.
On an even more fundamental level, hundreds of millions of complicated molecules interact to maintain a robust and amazing structure. A being with vastly different properties than the sum of its dead parts emerges. The smallest unit of life, a cell. We still don't have a clear definition of what living things are, we just know they emerge from things that are not alive. Cells combine and cooperate, they specialize and respond to one another, and over time, we develop into complex organisms with remarkable capacities. Your arms and legs and heart are an incredibly complex and complicated system made of trillions of individual stupid things. And yet we breathe, digest, and watch YouTube videos. How
They're made of stupid things. Oh, wow.
do your cells know what to do? Think of the pacemaker cells in your heart. Billions of them need to send out an impulse just at the right moment to collectively create a heartbeat. Our cells exchange chemical information with their neighbor cells to see what they're up to and then decide what to do. If it's among a lot of cells that are working on the same task, it will start working on that task as well and sync up with them. There is no mastermind giving commands, just single units communicating with their neighbors and acting according to the feedback they get. What about our most important part? What is the thing that asks these kinds of questions? Is our consciousness then an emergent property of the cells in our brain?
I think this was the reason why I was recommending this video. And I was going to say this a little bit earlier, but I was like, nah, maybe this is not what this video is about. But yeah, it's about the big question about our consciousness. Because I've been in this channel, there's some talks about that. Let's see what he has to say, especially about emergence, and I think that's the theory that a lot of scientists have, is the fact that this neurons is what I also believe to be our consciousness. But
This question is too big and important. It deserves a video of its own.
no,
Some things that emerge are hard to define. You can't touch an ant colony, only its parts. It has neither brain, nor face, nor body. And yet the colony interacts with the world. Just like colonies emerge from ants, things emerge from humans, like nations. What actually is a nation? Is it its population? Is it its institutions? Its symbols like its flag, colors, or anthems?
all of it.
The physical things it makes like cities? The territory it occupies? All of these things are fluid. Populations change and are replaced. Institutions come and go, cities can be constructed and abandoned. Borders have changed all the time for most of history. And symbols get replaced by new symbols. A nation has no face, no brain, no body. Are nations not real then? Of course they are. Just like ant colonies, nations interact with the world. They can change landscapes, wage wars, grow or decline, and they can stop existing. But they only exist because of a lot of humans interacting with each other. But not just nations. All the complex structures that surround us emerge from us. Even if we don't intend to, we are constantly creating communities, companies, cities, societies. All of these things are entities that have fundamentally different properties and abilities than the pretty stupid apes they emerged from. We don't know why any of this happens, we just observe it, and it seems to be a fundamental property of our universe. It may be the most beautiful and wondrous property of our universe.
Okay. Interesting. The naming of these things are just Form and function. This is something that I've said in my other videos. What is a pot? A form and function. It's not what it is. It's not what it's made out of. A pot can be something made of metal, clay, gold, silver, copper, bronze. All of these things can be a pot. A pot is a form and function. Society is a form and function, I believe. I'm saying this now. I haven't really thought about it, but let me just throw it out there. See what people think. Form and function. The colony, ant colony, form and function. Form and function. But maybe it's a little bit more than that. The form, it's the mound. The function is the survival of the ants. Perhaps maybe form and function can work. What is society? The form is a group of people. The function is to live. Much like civilization, countries, form and function. What's the form of a nation? Its boundaries. What's the function of a country? To be successful. I mean, it's a very broad term, but a country is to protect its people. Its function is to protect its people, to protect its culture. Cultures change, people change, but the form is the... Would a form would really be like the boundaries? Again, just throwing that idea out there. I never really thought about it. It's the first time I've ever seen this video, and it talks about how, like corporations. I mean, that's something that I've thought of. A corporation, there's no one person that's a corporation. It's a group of people, and it's a business. It's not a business owned by necessarily one person. I don't think so. Corporations tend to be owned by groups of people. But that's an emergence in a sense. I was wondering if it would actually ever say that. Because much like countries and corporations, you know, there's countries really? Because a country, you know, the president or the ruler of the country is not the country, it's the people. All of them, including the ruler himself. Without the people, the ruler would be by himself. Without the ruler, well, the people will be fine. But yeah, just throwing it out there. I mean, a very interesting video. And again, something about ants that I didn't know, which I love watching ants videos to a lot of degree, but I like watching nature too. And I didn't realize that they would switch. Perhaps there's just two functions of ants. I'm speaking so much into that one just because it's, again, very interesting. There's just fighter ants and just universal ants, maybe. You know, where one ant can do everything but become a fighter ant, and the fighter ant can only be a fighter ant because, well, they're built differently. Anyways, very interesting video. If you want to watch more of their stuff, please go to their channel. Again, it should be in the description, but sometimes I have to do a mass update and I'll delete all the links and everything. And so the best thing to do is to just copy the title of my video without the react and post it up on YouTube and do a search. Anyways, that's my reaction to Emergence, how stupid things become smarter together. That's kind of funny though. Hey, wait, are we saying humans individually are stupid? Oh my god. Well, I don't know. There's a weird saying. Hold on, I'm sorry. I was going to end the video, but now that I thought about that, there's a weird saying that they say, people are stupid, but individuals are smarter. I can't remember quite the saying, but they say people are stupid, as in not a person, but people in general. Perhaps that's in general. Because, or maybe it's a group of people, because groups of people tend to think collectively. And when one thinks something, the rest of them may agree with that, and then they all become stupid as a group. But if there's only that one stupid person that thought of it, that stupidity wouldn't spread. But it seems like a contradiction to this. It's not. It's just kind of funny. There's some truth to that, though, where you have one stupid person and it spreads his stupidity to the group. So, you know, how stupid things become stupid still anyway. Anyways, that's my reaction to this video. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.